Okay, the last session on the dashboard overview is going to be going over labels, comments, and requests. Labels are broken up into 4 different categories. You have your urgent, which are shown on every computer in every department across the company. You have reminders, which are exclusive only to your data loop, or where you log in with your admin and password. You have your attention requested, which are, again, specific only to your admin. And tracking, which is, again, specific to only your admin. So I'm not going to see what someone else has in a reminder for them, or an attention request, or a tracking, but I will see anything that anybody puts into urgent. Urgent is basically where we can mark an order, or a quote, or a customer account urgent if we have something obviously urgent with this. If we need to make sure that we are contacting this customer to make sure that they don't need to expedite shipping because they say they want their sign tomorrow, but they're 2 days away and it's shipping today, we would put it in urgent because we need that taken care of immediately. First priority. To click something into urgent, you would come to the order or the quote or the account overview. Set comment to. Click this urgent button, and it's going to turn this field this pinkish color and add this here, which allows me to remove it. Now, once something is in urgent, it'll populate in this list. And so anybody in the company can click on this pen and paper and see that it's an urgent. Now, a step further, need to call needs expedited shipping. Now I've got a reason in there of why it's an urgent. So I set it to urgent. It's going to say who put it there, the timestamp, why it's an urgent, and that I labeled it urgent. Obviously the big pink is kind of indicative of that as well. So anybody in the company who clicks on this pad and paper now is going to see my note first and foremost of why I consider it urgent. The same goes with the rest of them, except they're specific to only me. Reminders I can mark on accounts, quotes, or orders. I click reminder. I set a date that I would like it to remind me. Let's say Monday at 9 a.m. this customer ask me to call regarding artwork. Okay, so call regarding artwork. So when I hit update, it's going to put a reminder here that allows me to remove it from myself. It's only showing this to me. It's something I made for myself. It tells me the time, what it is I'm reminding myself to do, and this right here shows that's the time that it's going to pop into this category. It's not in here now. Even though I've reminded myself now, it is not going to populate in that list until 11:12 at 9 a.m. So I'm going to remove that. Let's go back to attention request. Attention request is typically used between departments to ask questions or to finalize confusion, basically. Let's say I wanted to attention request the shipping department. Let's say the shipping department is, I don't know, let's say I want to ship, this is the shipping department. Must blind ship. I want to make sure this goes to the shipping department. Now, it's going to populate in mine, and it's going to populate in the persons I've attentioned it for, because it's a part of both of our admins now. So I hit update, and it's going to do a timestamp, and it's going to put in italics that I attention requested Nicole Baxter. Now, if you were in Nicole Baxter's dashboard, that would have just popped up right here. When she answers my question, or says, okay, blind shipped, here's the tracking number, she's going to click the button that removed it, that would have been up here, and probably attention request me for it, saying, okay, it went blind. And so because she was attentioning me on this one, I get the blue on the screen that alerts me that someone has attention requested me. That's going to populate in my attention requests. The last one is tracking, and that's just for anything that you want to keep an eye on, anything that you're responsible for, anything that, me specifically, all of my quotes, not all my quotes, all of my orders I put in tracking until I see them move to completed. And that way, at the very bottom of the tracking list, that's usually the one I'm watching the most. It's been there the longest. If something gets caught up in the proofing process or in the shipping process or is running behind, I've got a list of every one of my orders in the list it was put in, so I know which ones to start tracking down internally and making sure they get out. It's just basically a way of being able to track the orders for my customers that I put in. I can also track things that, bigger sales, things that I had a hand in, things that I know there'll be questions about at some point, and then I'm going to want to step in and make sure I clarify something. And that's pretty much these 4 tabs. The second tab over is comments, and that basically just allows you to click on this button on any order, quote, or customer account and see all the comments associated with it without actually having to click on the pen and pad and go to the order and see everything. It just basically gives you this little list right here. And then you've got your requests. There are 5 different types of requests that you can mark for an order. These are all specific to orders. They can't be done for quotes, and they're not done on account overviews. Basically, here, coming down here, remember we got the urgent, reminder, and attention request and tracking we already went over. This last one's a request. If someone marks this request for material, meaning I want to make sure we have enough material for this, we need to order material for this, we're waiting on material for this, it's going to populate in here. This alerts whoever is in charge of stock and inventory and ordering material to check to make sure this has been handled. When it has been handled, they write it here. We have this in stock, and they unrequest it. It's been handled. The second request is outsource. If an order, when I order something, because it tells me to here, and I've ordered something, this order will already be in outsourced, meaning it's not going down the pipelines any longer at our production facility. It has been stopped. Instead of putting into production, it has been put into outsourced, which is kind of like a sister status to production, meaning it's in production, just not here. The third one is need to call. That is if, for instance, maybe the art department has questions on the art. It's an online order. It's an online order that was not done by a specific admin. It wasn't put in by a specific customer rep. And she's got a question on, need to call. Call customer to see if they have vectorized art. This JPEG is fuzzy. Puts it in need to call. Now we have we have customer reps that specifically daily look for need to calls, and as they pop up here, they pop into them. They read what another department needs. They call the customer. When they have a solution, they remove it. Customer emailed EPS file in Gmail, and then I just tell them where it is. Then I remove that request, and I've taken care of that need to call. The very last, or the check stock, is basically similar to material. Check stock is we should have this material in, but I'm not sure. I just want to make sure because this is a large order. This is larger than the size we usually have. Material is typically we don't keep this in stock, but maybe we have some. Basically kind of the same thing. The last one is balance due. any order, let's say this customer actually had 6 of them. They added 3 more in their after they paid their order. They have a balance due. Anytime anywhere there's a balance due, we want to mark that for request balance due, so that not only it populates in anybody who has a filter for balance due, but you can just pop in and see at a glance everything that every customer, every order that still has money that needs to be, charged on it. So I would come in here and I'd say, okay, $99.79, find out why it is that extra amount is being charged, and call the customer and see if they want it on the same card or if they want to use a different method. And then once I've charged that balance, and it no longer has that balance, it removes that red, and now I have to come manually up here and uncheck it, which removes it from that.